All right, we're going to continue our Battleground 2020 series. Today, we're going to take a look at the state of North Carolina. It's a state that President Trump carried in 2016, but again, is considered a toss-up this cycle. A new CNBC Change Research poll shows that the president's trailing Joe Biden by 7 points in North Carolina, and the state also has a close Senate race, which we're going to focus on a little later this month. But today we're going to look at the race for the House District 11. The seat was vacated by Mark Meadows when he became the White House Chief of Staff. Our next guest won the GOP primary for the race, despite the fact that President Trump and Mark Meadows endorsed another candidate. He will now face off against Democrat Mo Davis in November, and get this, he's 24. Joining us now, North Carolina Congressional candidate Madison Cawthorne. Madison, welcome.
Sean, thank you so much for having me on. I'm really excited to be here.
Great. Well, congratulations. Let me ask you, it's been sort of the last few years have been really interesting for new young members of Congress. 2015, Elise Stefanik won a Republican seat. At that point, she became the youngest member of Congress elected. Then 4 years later, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez gets elected and takes the mantle as the youngest member. And then if you continue to win in November, which is what we all expect, then you will become the youngest member. But the interesting thing is Elise and Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez took two different kind of stances when they got to Congress. Elise kind of became the workhorse, shied away from big national interviews, wanted to kind of get her work done and ingratiate herself with her district. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez sought the spotlight. She was on all the national shows. She became kind of the face for the progressive left-wing movement. So when you get to Congress, which one of those paths do you want to take?
I don't really think it's a binary choice. Elise just had a birthday yesterday, so we're all very excited for her, and she's done incredible work. Like you said, she is a workhorse. But I don't want to make a binary choice out of the two. I want to be in committee doing the work for my district. But I also believe that we're not so much in a policy war right now in the United States of America, so much as we're in a culture war. And so I want to bring the message of conservatism to a new base and a new audience, because I genuinely believe that a lot of the people under 40 years old who are registering independent or undecided, and the reason is because they just don't believe either party really represents them perfectly. But I think the Republican Party fits almost everyone perfectly, because we are the party of freedom. We want to put the pen of destiny in your hand and let you take that and do what you will with it.
You know, Madison, I've been doing campaigns a long time. In fact, I think I did my first race by the time right now, your age. And if I had been given a look at this race a few weeks ago and someone said, hey, there's one candidate the president's endorsed, there's another candidate that the incumbent Mark Meadows has endorsed, and then there's another candidate and he's 24 years old, who do you put your $100 bet on? I would have bet on the other candidate. What did you do that was so amazing that overcame those odds?
Well, number one is ground game. I believe our ground game will beat anyone's in the world right now who's running an election. I'm really excited to be able to utilize that to help Donald Trump carry North Carolina again in 2020, because I know, as you were just saying in the beginning, this will be a battleground state. But the reason I believe our ground game is so incredible and so efficient is mainly because our message truly resonates with the people. And that is that, there is a kingdom in D.C., a kingdom-like mentality, where these career politicians just feel like we are their subjects and they want to release decrees telling us what to do. And so I'm going up to Washington to be a weapon in the hands of Western North Carolina and a weapon for the cause of conservatism. We need to defeat these career politicians on both sides. They're just a bunch of political hacks who are starting to spend our money just as whenever they want and however they see fit. And it's saddling future generations with more and more debt. And it is not only wrong, it's immoral.
Madison, I caught your interview on The View the other day. You did a great job, but you said something really interesting, that the Republican Party lacks empathy, and that's something that you would bring. What do you mean by that?
So about 7 years ago, I was in a terrible car accident. I had just been nominated by the then Congressman Mark Meadows to go to the United States Naval Academy. I was 18 years old. Everything in my life was going exactly how I wanted it. But then at about 18 years old, my friend fell asleep while driving a car, and we ran into a concrete barricade. That's left me paralyzed from the waist down. And I'll tell you, that
I think we might have lost Madison's feed. Let's try to see if we get him back. But if not, I think he was just telling this story. It's so amazing. He lost both of his legs, or the use of his legs. Madison, I'm sorry. I know you were going on with your story. Please continue.
I apologize. Well, anyways, as I was saying, I had a 1% chance to live. It was a terrible car accident. And that really taught me the obvious lessons of perseverance and grit and getting through the bad times because they never last. But it also taught me empathy. You know, I now know what it feels like to feel marginalized, to really feel left behind, and to feel like I'm looked over in a crowd. And so I can really empathize with people who don't look like me or perhaps have a different background. Yeah. And I believe bringing that compassionate conservative message will bring a lot of these undecided millennials and Gen Zers back over our side so that we can fight against this liberal ideology with our full force.
Hey, Madison, you have such an amazing story. Thank you for everything that you've done to serve the country and then turn that into such a positive way of continuing public service. So best of luck to you in November, and have a great and safe 4th of July.
Thank you both. Happy 4th of July.
You too. All right.
You just watched Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing news channel, now in 65 million homes. Get Newsmax TV on all the major cable systems or go to newsmaxtv.com and click on the Find Newsmax tab to locate us. Remember, Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.